childless, or up to $52,000 per year if they have children. In fact, earning more does not necessarily help one wean himself off the state-sponsored support. As wages rise, assistance can often decline so precipitously that even earning $1 more can mean a loss of thousands of dollars in aid. This creates a disincentive for the worker to improve and earn more. The perverse incentive here is that we are rewarding the very thing we are trying to eliminate, that is, low wages. These wage subsidies serve only to pervert the normal incentives present in an exchange between employer and employee. Both the employer and employee are aware of the subsidies, so each is willing to offer less and accept less rather than demand more and offer more. I thought it was interesting that one of the interviewees mentioned that Connecticut, her home state, had just raised the minimum wage. And actually they did raise it, but it's going to be over progressive stages. In January of the next 3 years, it's going to be raised. First in 2015 to $9.15, in 2016 to $9.60, and in 2017 finally to $10.10. So the thought that it was all raised to $10.10 just immediately after the legislature passed the law, the governor signed it, is actually not correct. So need to get our facts straight there. Let's hear more from the citizens of Lehigh Valley.
Okay, first of all, give me your age, please.
60.
Okay, can you give me your average yearly income, under 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, that sort of idea?
6 digits, 180.
Okay, all right. So would you favor raising the minimum wage above $7.25 an hour as it is currently?
Absolutely.
Okay, what would you like to raise it to?
At least 10.
Okay, $10 per hour. Okay, excellent. And would you favor guaranteeing every American free meals, free car, the necessities of life?
Free?
Free.
I don't think free.
Okay, all right. And anything else you like that?
No, I just think that we need to wake up and let our economy get going again, and that's one way we can do it.
Thank you for your time. Your age, please.
55.
55, okay. And can you give me your average annual income, like 40, 50, 50, 60, etc.?
100.
Okay, 100 plus, okay. And would you favor raising the minimum wage above $7.25 an hour?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And what would you like to raise it to?
Well, the Harkin-Miller bill is for 10.10 with indexing it for inflation. I would support $12.
$12 an hour. Okay. Would you favor guaranteeing to every American a right to a free car, free meals, that sort of thing?
No.
Age, please.
I am 57.
Excellent. 57 years old. Could you give me your approximate yearly income? 40 to 50, 50, 60, etc.
I say it's just over 100,000.
Okay, just over 100,000 per year. Would you favor raising the minimum wage above $7.25 per hour as it is currently?
You know, I'm not sure on that, and here's why. Because it really doesn't help the people it's intended to help. So I'd say I don't want to see people remain poor, but if you want people to have more income, we need to make jobs.
Okay, so job creation instead of...
creation versus a minimum wage increase.
Okay, anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's all.
Thanks a lot. Give me your age.
70.
70, all right. All right, you're looking pretty good for 70. All right, excellent. Yeah, it is on the recording. It is. All right, can you please give me your average annual income? Would be, say, 20 to 30, 30 to 40?
Over 100.
Okay, over 100,000 per year. All right, would you favor raising the minimum wage above $7.25 where it is now?
Oh, definitely raise it.
And what would you like to raise it to?
Well, some people talk about 10, and it should be at least 10, I think, because it's hard to survive on 10 if you have a family. So I would say at least whatever people are talking about, the high number. I'll go with the high number.
Okay, fair enough. And one more question. Would you be in favor of guaranteeing to every American free meals, free car, basically the necessities of living?
I have to think about that.
Fair enough. All right, anything else you like that?
No, I think there are people who do need essentially free services, but to make it across the board, I would think not.
Okay, thanks for your time.
So the first gentleman in this segment said that we need to let our economy get going again. And this is one way we can do it, referring to the minimum wage raise. How can we let our economy get going again when we burden employers with a mandate to pay employees a minimum wage regardless of their worth to the company? The way to improve someone's wage is to improve their capabilities, and thus their value to any potential employer. The way to jumpstart the economy is to remove the heavy hands of government from capitalists, from those who invest of their savings to build things, manufacture things, and so forth. They invest money, to receive more money in return. And when government interferes in this process, it slows down and even stops growth rather than stimulating it. Employers and employees need to be free to negotiate the best possible situation for themselves. This only makes sense in a free market, and this can be best accomplished without a mandatory minimum wage. It shows us right here that there is really no difference between civil liberties and economic liberties. They are one and the same, as Ron Paul said. Low-skilled workers may receive a low wage and expect that to rise with their experience level. If that raise never comes, then they can switch to another employer, taking that experience and their greater value of time and energy with them. Some of the interviewees seemed genuinely surprised at the suggestion of guaranteeing to every American the right of necessities of life, such as a free car, free meals, and so forth. Yet they want government to mandate a minimum wage so that these people can have those necessities of life. In truth, they want only a certain level of government interference in the market. They support a reasonable hike in the minimum wage, so they think, but they would be opposed to a major raise such as $50 per hour. They believe that they have enough economic training to manage our economy, when in reality no one can guarantee that everyone will always have everything they need. It's not possible for men to get together and collectively plan how the economy is going to fit into this certain niche, how these funds ought to be allocated. We need to give everyone the freedom to pursue their own selfish best interest. And now on to more enlightened views from Lehigh Valley citizens. Age, please.
I'm 20 years old.
20. Okay, and what is your average yearly income? I realize you're a student, so it'd be under 20, 20 to 30, somewhere in there?
About $5,000.
$5,000 a year. That's okay, fair enough. All right, and would you favor raising the minimum wage to more than $7.25 an hour where it is now?
No, it should stay the same because then it will just screw up all the other income out of whack.
Okay, fair enough. All right. And Father, would you favor guaranteeing to every American the right to a free car, free meals, basically the necessities of living?
No.
Okay, excellent. Anything you want to add?
No.
Age, please.
42.
Okay, and can you give me your yearly income bracket, 20, 30, 30, 40?
40, 50.
Okay, great. And would you favor raising the minimum wage?
Nope. I would not.
Okay, and so you wouldn't favor raising, and I guess what you probably guarantee to every American a free car, free meals either, would you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, please.
26.
Excellent. And could you give me your average yearly income, under 20, 20, 30, etc.?
50, 75.
Okay, very good. And would you favor raising the minimum wage above $7.25 as it is currently?
I would not.
Okay. And would you favor guaranteeing to every American the right to a free meal, free car, that sort of thing, necessities of life?
Not by way of government program.
Okay, excellent. Anything else you'd like to add?
I'm supportive of a free market, so I'd say typically I don't like government intervention to set any type of like wage ceiling or wage floor or rent floor, and I do support everyone being able to eat, and I think that there's lots of good like charitable ways that could provide that.
According to a survey conducted by Express Employment Professionals and reported by Fox News, 38% surveyed would have to lay off workers if Congress approved the minimum wage hike. This was a survey of over 1,200 business and HR professionals. Nearly two-thirds said they would have to raise prices on their goods and services to offset the increase, while more than half said they would have to cut back on new hires. The Congressional Budget Office reported last month that while raising the country's minimum wage might boost the incomes of millions of Americans, it would simultaneously mean hundreds of thousands of fewer workers. That means hundreds of thousands of people laid off from their jobs to achieve this higher wages for others. According to the CBO, a graduated boost in the minimum wage to $10.10 by 2016 would lead to an estimated decline in employment of 500,000 workers by the second half of that year. That was the rate proposed by the Miller-Harkin bill, which recently failed in the Senate. As Austrian economists have argued for many years now, the market does not need managing. When everyone pursues their own selfish best interest, the greatest amount of opportunity and equality are the results. Let's rid ourselves of this archaic idea that without government we would all be dead, hopeless zombies at best, and embrace freedom once again. It wasn't government regulation that built this country. It was innovators and entrepreneurs, people seeking their own best interest by seeking the best interest of their fellow countrymen. Let us take up the mantle of liberty and embrace the free market once again, getting government out of the way so businesses, producers, individuals can thrive. We want to thank all of our brave volunteers for their service to humanity by providing intellectually stimulating comments. Thanks to my producer, Joe Robner, for many hours of faithful work on making this show worthy of listening to. And thank God for allowing me to live and learn about true liberty. You can find us on Twitter at LibertyOrDeathR, on Facebook at facebook.com/Liberty or Death Radio. Also on Spreaker.com at Spreaker.com/Liberty or Death Radio. Thank you for listening.